Alrighty then, Successful Indie Author 5 Minutes Focus, episode 350. There's Stanley. He abandoned me earlier, but then he came back. He's here now. The power of how far. We can't look at how far we have to go because we don't know. That is that nebulous point in the distance where it's not the destination, it's the journey that matters. And if you even have a destination, it'll be a waypoint on a greater trip that you're taking. Because if you hit that destination, what do? Do you just curl up and die? No, you keep going. So what does that look like? So we don't want to look at how far we have to go. What we want to do is look at how far we've come. Because everybody has improved over their life. Everybody has changed. And it's important to recognize when people change. And that's goes for yourself. Make sure you give yourself credit for changing. Maybe at an earlier time you might have snapped back at somebody when they said something, and now you don't do that. You maybe take a step back, think about it, and then give a more cultured, a more reasoned response, or none at all. Whatever works for you as you've learned, because we learn, we grow continuously, and that's the journey of life. You need to make sure that you're always getting better and better for yourself. Because you have to live with yourself. You have to look at yourself in the mirror each day. So it's not how far you have to go. It's how far you've come. I talk to a lot of authors. There are people who've been authoring for 20, 30 years, have 10 books out, and make nothing. Doesn't matter. Look at how far you are. Getting a book finished is huge, no matter what. And keep moving forward. Finding why that book isn't selling. Now, that's the challenge. That's the adult business challenge. What do we do about it? What do we do moving forward? And how do we make it better? How do we make it so this book sells if that's what your goal is? Is it that book or is it a different book? What book do you need to sell? Maybe you haven't written that book yet. Maybe your book, your magnum opus, is still in your head and not on the screen available for people to pick up. So be kind to yourself. It's a journey. Do your best. Do your best every day. Why not? Of course. So you can look back tomorrow, because you're going to look back whether you want to or not. And you've got to realize, hey, did I do what I could? Did I do the best I could? And what about today? Have goals. Strive for those goals, but always take a look back and see how far you've come. Take a look in that rearview mirror and say, man, that's a long ways back there. I'm here now. And even if you can't see that ball of string on Route 66 yet, you'll get there eventually. Unless you have taste, and then you don't stop for the ball of string. Failure, we all fail. Failure is a speed bump on the road to success. Success is a nebulous point in the distance, because when you get there, you'll realize that there's a lot more available to you. And look at those vistas, look at those rainbows, look at those green valleys ahead of you. So you'll keep moving forward. You'll change your idea, you'll change your goal, and you'll shoot for that. And then build on that platform, and all that distance you've come, you'll use that to keep pushing forward. Success, people learn a lot more from failure than they do success. Because if you published your first book and you're wildly successful, what did you learn from that? I suggest you didn't learn a whole lot. Maybe even some of the wrong lessons that, hey, if I just put a book out there, people will buy it. And I've known a lot of authors who have done that, and they could not replicate that success, and then they petered out and stopped writing, because they never saw that success that they realized with the first book. So failure, for those of us who failed on that first book, failed miserably in the second and the third and the fourth, what did we do? How did we keep climbing to get to a point where we are today and say, yeah, okay, that first book had these issues, I fixed them, now we're here. The second book had no issues, really, and it was just targeted at the wrong audience. When we adjusted that, because my second, third, and fifth books were targeted at the wrong audience. And once I retargeted them, they were fine. The first book I sold to a trad pub, rewrote, retitled, recovered, and those sold well. My fourth book has never sold well. And it's a good book. So anyway, I'm writing book 2 in that series now, so it can sell not well either. Anyway, I'm obligated to write that second book. I'm not obligated to write a third book, though. So I'm almost done, probably 3 or 4 days from getting finished with this second book in the one series of my worst-selling series of all time, but I think one of my best books and best stories. So anyway, that's where we are. Success Success is just another way to keep moving forward. Failure is how you learn to keep moving forward. Do both. Keep looking ahead. But every now and then take a look back and see how far you've come. Because that's what makes you who you are and what you are. All right. Peace, fellow humans. There was episode 350. How about that? 350 of these babies.